Welcome to Curious Kids every, what is it? Week? No. Curious Kids every month. No, that's not right. Year? Curious Kids every year. Oh, right. Every day. Curious Kids every day. I forgot. How are you doing today? It's so good to hear from you. Do you ever forget things? I sure do. But when you have a lot of things you're trying to keep track of, it's easy to miss things from time to time. The strange thing, though, is that our brains are so good at remembering things. I mean, think about all the things that your brain remembers. There are millions of little facts that your brain keeps track of. What sound does a dog make? What color is the sky? What does your dad look like? Does your dad have a beard? See, you knew all of those things off the top of your head, didn't you? So, why are there some things we forget? You want to find out today? First, let's talk about how memory works. When you learn something new, your brain makes connections between brain cells called neurons. These connections are like little pathways. If you practice or think about the information often, the pathway gets stronger, like a well-worn trail in the forest. If you don't use it much, the pathway can fade, and that's when you forget. One reason we forget is something called decay. Imagine writing something in the sand at the beach. Over time, the waves wash it away. Memories can work like that too. If we don't revisit or use them, they slowly fade away. Another reason is interference. Can you say interference? Interference is when one memory gets in the way of another. Imagine you learn the rules to a new board game, but last week you played a different game with similar rules. Your brain might keep remembering the old rules instead of the new ones because they're kind of the same. The old and new memories compete, and sometimes one wins out over the other. Now, there's also something called retrieval failure. Can you say retrieval failure? That's when the memory is stored in your brain, but you just can't pull it out in the moment. Have you ever had a word that was on the tip of your tongue, as they say? You know it, but you just can't think of it. Now, I was just pretending at the beginning of this episode that I forgot the name of the show, obviously. But if I had really forgotten, that would be an example of retrieval failure. My brain does know the name of the show, but I was just having trouble recalling it in the moment. Then later, when I'm not even trying, the memory pops back into my head. All right, Curious Kids every day, how could I forget? That's because the information was there, but my brain's search engine couldn't find it at the right time. Forgetting can actually be helpful. Did you know that? Our brains are constantly taking in new information. If we remembered every single detail of every single thing that happened every single day, we'd be really overwhelmed. Forgetting helps us focus on the most important things, like how to tie your shoes or where you live or the names of your family. Emotions also play a role. Strong feelings like happiness or fear or excitement make memories stick. That's why you might remember your birthday party from last year, but you forget what you had for lunch yesterday. Wait, what did you have for lunch yesterday? Do you remember what you had for lunch yesterday? Scientists also study something called sleep and memory. When you sleep, your brain organizes memories, like filing them away into folders. If you don't sleep well, your brain doesn't file things properly and you may forget more easily. So make sure you get good sleep. It really helps you remember. And the next time you forget where you put your pencil, don't be too hard on yourself. Your brain is busy doing a big, complicated job of managing all kinds of information. Forgetting isn't a mistake, it's just part of how memories work. Did you know that there's a part of your brain called the hippocampus that's shaped kind of like a seahorse? Can you say hippocampus? That's the part of your brain that helps make and organize new memories, the hippocampus. All right, let's have a quick quiz. What do we call it when old and new memories compete? We call that interference. And what do we call it when the memory is stored in your brain, but you can't pull it out in the moment? We call that retrieval failure. And what part of the brain is important for making new memories? It's the word I just mentioned a minute ago. Do you remember? Kind of sounds like hippopotamus. It's the hippocampus. Let's play true or false. True or false? Memories are stored in your stomach. No, that's false. True or false? Sleep helps your brain organize memories. That is true. True or false? Forgetting everything is helpful for your brain. That's false. Sometimes it's helpful to forget certain things, but not everything. True or false? Having strong feelings can make memories easier to remember. That is true. That's why it's really easy to remember really special days with your family. Like if you went to a theme park or a zoo, you were doing something out of the ordinary, and so your brain was taking in a lot of new stuff and really enjoying itself too. So that combination really makes it easy to remember things. Would you rather be able to remember every single thing forever, or be able to choose what you remember and what you forget? You know, I'm glad that we can't choose what things to forget, because there are a lot of hard things that I might have chosen in the moment to forget about. But those things have helped shape me into a better person. So I'm glad that my brain hung on to them. It's really, really cool how the brain works. Okay, let's play What Am I? What am I? I help strengthen memory pathways. Without me, it's harder to remember things. And your brain files memories while you're doing this thing. What am I? That would be sleep. Okay, one more. I can make you laugh. I help make memories stronger. And I can make you cry. What am I? That is your emotions. Okay, let's play a memory game. I'm going to list some animals, and I want you to remember the animals that I say, and then I'm going to ask you to tell me a certain specific number. Does that make sense? For example, I'll say 3 animals, and then I'll ask you to tell me what was the first animal I said, or what was the second animal I said. Okay, are you ready? All right, here's the first one. Dog, cat, elephant. Okay, what was the third animal I said? Yep, elephant. All right, this one's a little trickier. Are you ready? Lion, giraffe, zebra, monkey. What was the second animal I said? That would be giraffe. Okay, this one is even tougher. Are you ready? Whale, dolphin, shark, octopus, turtle. What was the first animal I said? Yep, whale. Okay, one more. This is 6 animals I'm going to say, and I'm only going to say it once, okay? Are you ready? Rabbit, fox, bear, wolf, deer, owl. What was the last animal I said? Yep, owl. That was a tough game. If you got all of those, that is pretty impressive. But see, it would have been very easy for you to forget those because your brain had just learned that information. But now, let's say, for example, that this entire episode, I just said, rabbit, fox, bear, wolf, deer, owl. I can't even say it. Rabbit, fox, bear, wolf, deer, owl. Rabbit, fox, bear, wolf, deer, owl. And I just said that over and over. And you had headphones on and you just listened to me say that over and over all day for 3 days. Now, if you did that, 1, you would probably start to go crazy. But 2, you would really remember rabbit, fox, bear, wolf, deer, owl, because your brain was hearing it over and over and over again. But when I just say it one time, fox, bear, wolf, rabbit, deer, owl, did you notice I said it in a different order that time? Can you repeat it back? Probably not. That's because it was the first time your brain heard it, and your brain needs time to create new pathways. So, why do we forget things? Well, because our brains are busy managing tons of information. Sometimes memories fade, sometimes they get mixed up, and sometimes they just don't pop out when you want them to. Forgetting helps us focus on what matters most, and with sleep, practice, and strong emotions, our memories can become even stronger. Do you have a really good memory that you never want to forget? What is it? What kind of question do you think we'll ask tomorrow on Curious Kids Every Day? I can't wait to find out. So until then, keep asking questions and stay curious, kids. And for all the grown-ups listening, we are launching the Curious Kids Club really soon. For more information, go to supportcuriouskids.com. And please visit CuriousKidsEveryday.com to get a free printable with activity ideas that don't involve screens. Those are the best kinds of adventures to have. That's CuriousKidsEveryday.com. See you tomorrow.